Hi everyone, it's Dr. H. Welcome to Wednesday, Hump Day. Woo! Today we are doing simple multiple choice problems. It's really good practice, and this is the perfect time for you to practice your test taking skills, even though you won't have milestones. Test taking skills also require critical thinking, and critical thinking is what all of your teachers want you to walk out of school able to do, to critically think through a problem or text or whatever situation is going on and come up with the best answer. So you know, when we do multiple choice problems, the first thing we do is read the problem to see what we're going to be looking for. So let's go down and do that together. I'm not going to read the choices, I'm just going to read what the problem is. Okay, so question 1 says, read the line from the first stanza in the poem, "The monsters are all in your head," and then it asks, which phrase best states the meaning of all in your head? So we are going, when you're reading that, think about what that means, all in your head. Then B, which detail in the first stanza helps the reader understand the meaning of all in your head? And so how do you know? What's your context clue? Which statement best summarizes the speaker's message about fears? How are the events in stanzas 2 and 3 important to the poem's theme? Select one choice from each stanza that supports the answer to part A. So remember, it was stanza 2 and stanza 3. So you're going to pick one answer from stanza 2 and one answer from stanza 3. That means this will have 2 answers. Okay? Probably capitalize my T. All right. Next, which line from the poem best summarizes a theme from the poem? All right, so let's go back up and read the poem and the questions and answer choices. Okay, this might be read aloud by Google Read Write, but since it was part of a PDF, I'm not 100% sure. So, Anna's Monster by Justin Nunez. And these are stanzas. So this is a stanza. After you have a break, you have a new stanza. So this is stanza 1. I'm scared of the darkness. I don't care who knows it. I don't like the darkness at all. I sleep with the lights on, 2 lights in my room, and a much brighter light in the hall. I'm frightened of monsters that may come and get me. Whenever I climb into bed, my mother says, Anna, you're just being silly. The monsters are all in your head. Okay, all in our heads. That's something we needed to pay attention to. But I don't think that's true because of what happened. Last night, the first day of the week, I put on my nightgown, got under the covers, rolled over, and heard a strange squeak. It wasn't a mouse, and it wasn't a rabbit. It wasn't a cat or a dog. I'm sorry, it wasn't a dog or a cat. So I screamed out in terror. My mother came running. Whatever, she asked me, was that? I heard a strange noise, I explained to my mother. I was almost too frightened to talk. I knew it was monsters, some big, hungry monsters. It was all I could do not to squawk. I don't like the darkness, I said to my mother. I don't like the dark and the night. Can't I get up and sit with you on the couch in a room that is all cheery and bright? Oh, Anna, Mom said, and she looked at me sadly. Do we need to go through this once more? Last night you assured me that you saw a monster, and it turned out to be socks on the floor. But this one was real, I complained to my mother. I heard it squeak loudly and clear. I don't like the darkness. The monsters will eat me. Don't let them come anywhere near. My mother explained that noises weren't monsters. She showed me some interesting things. For example, I learned that my bed makes a squeak when you push down too hard on the springs. So there weren't any monsters. They didn't exist. And I know that my mother was right. But what if those monsters that never existed come into my bedroom tonight? All right, there was that fun poem. So let's look at our questions. I'm going to read them aloud. If you want to pause after I read the questions so you can answer them, please feel free to do so. It says, think. Use what you learned from reading the poem to answer the following questions. This question has two parts. First, answer part A, then answer part B. Well, duh. Part A. Read the line from the first stanza in the poem. The monsters are all in your head. Which phrase best states the meaning of all in your head? That it's A, easy to see, B, only ready to attack you, C, only imagined, D, giving you a headache. Right, you can rewind if you need to have me read those again. Part B. Which detail in the first stanza best helps the reader understand the meaning of all in your head? A, I'm scared of the darkness. B, I sleep with the lights on. C, whenever I climb into bed. Or D, Anna, you're just being silly. So, what does all in your head mean? And then what's a good hint that that's how you figured out what it meant? Number 2, which statement best summarizes the speaker's message about fears? A, for most people, nighttime is scary because it is dark and quiet and nobody is awake. B, for most people, many people are much too fearful, and some are even afraid of their own surroundings. C, it can be hard to stop being afraid even when someone proves that what you fear is not real. D, it is easy to get over a fear once someone shows you that your fear is based on something that is not real. So I would think of the whole poem, but I would also think about those last two lines. Okay. Number 3, this question has two parts. First, answer part A, duh. Then answer part B. All right. Part A, how are the events in stanzas 2 and 3 important to the poem's theme? So remember, we're looking at stanzas. So this is stanza 2, and this is stanza 3. Stanza 2, part A says, we read that already. I'm tired. A, these events show Anna doesn't like the dark of night because that is when she sees the monsters. B, these events show Anna remembers when it was last night that she heard a squeak. C, these events show Anna's mother comes running in fear when Anna screams. D, these events show Anna believes that monsters make the noises that scare her in the dark. So this is not the theme. Up here you would have seen the theme, but which one is important to the poem's theme? Which one tells you the most about the theme? They're all sort of true, but one gives you the best clue as to the theme. Select one choice from each stanza. So remember, this is 2 answers that best supports the answer to part A. Because of what happened, stanza 2. I screamed out in terror, stanza 2. Or whatever she asked me was that, stanza 2. I knew it was monsters, stanza 3. It was all I could do, stanza 3. In a room that's cheery and bright, stanza 3. So this one is hard, so do your best, okay? Number 4, which line from the poem best summarizes a theme of the poem? Would have been smart to ask you this one before it asks you about supporting the theme, but I didn't write this. A, the monsters are all in your head. Line 8. B, rolled over and heard a strange squeak. Line 12. So I screamed out in terror. My mother came running. Line 15. I don't like the darkness, I said to my mother. Line 21. So, themes are overall, right? They're general. So is monsters being in your head, hearing a strange squeak, screaming and having your parent respond, or not liking the dark, something that would be about lots of different stories or poems and is about this one. All right, I look forward to checking your answers, and I'll be on from 9 to 1 tomorrow.